Hey, y'all.
Hello.
Hello.
I haven't seen you in so long.
I know.
Hello.
You cut your hair.
Me?
Yeah.
I chopped it in May. It's actually grown out a little bit.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's the curly something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been
She's
a
got it
hot
pulled
mess
back.
today. And I have a
Looks
little
cute.
headband in because it's been a hot mess today.
Hey, Stephanie, give us a few minutes to transition. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
I'm on my iPad. My computer won't log in.
Okay.
Oh. Did Kevin send a link if we need to caucus or we?
Yeah, he sent everything. It's in your home email. He also sent the district's proposal too for health with the Zoom link for afterward. Oh, okay. One of your emails.
Kevin, it's Laura. Will this meeting be broadcast as well?
Yes,
Thank you. And what manner is that?
YouTube.
Our recording has.
Somebody needs WD-40. My knees sound like in the morning.
I think I'm on with my computer now. You guys need to stop that yawning.
I know, I'm so tired.
We've been staring at a screen since 1 o'clock this afternoon. That always makes me tired.
Yeah. Mm. So for those watching right now, we're just transitioning. We just got a district PEA and ASME just got out of the insurance committee, and so we're just transitioning right now.
Are we going to caucus on this proposal?
We will caucus as needed.
Good afternoon. This is Laura McCabe, Coordinator for Labor Relations with Polk County Schools. And we're here in the HR conference room. We have Mr. Jason Pitts, our Chief of Staff, Ms. Linda King, our Director of Risk Management and Employee Benefits, and Mr. Barry Marbett, our Director of Employee and Labor Relations, and also Ms. Pam Carter, Senior Technician for Labor Relations. And we may have other administrators participating remotely. I believe Mr. Tony Kirk, Senior Director of HR, was going to join us remotely as well.
Okay. So are you guys ready?
Yeah, the district emailed the proposal earlier today to the union presidents for distribution to their teams, and I'll project that.
I can't hear anything.
Was that Margie?
All I'm hearing is something in the background.
I don't know, Margie. We can hear you.
Are we ready to begin the presentation?
All right. So we I know we distributed it to our team. And so what we would like to happen right now, if you guys can go through row by row and explain and reference any of the documents that you used in rationale to make some of these changes. So that, because I know our team got it, this afternoon, but they've been working. And just so everybody else is, can see it row by row, that's what we would like to do right now. So if you guys can go row by row and explain the differences of what you're proposing from this current year to what you're proposing for next year, the changes that would happen under your proposal and your rationale, and where, what documents you're using for that rationale.
Yes, Ms. King had planned a presentation when you're ready. Can everyone hear?
I can hear. Can everybody else?
We'll let her begin. Thank you.
Okay, awesome.
The volume is really low.
Okay.
You're fine. It can pick up.
All right. Well, the district used the actuarial plan funding that has been prepared and presented to the board, and also part of the state filing to prepare this documentation as far as the plan projections. So you see for plan year 2021, the premium revenue the district collected was $126,059,059. And based on projections for plan year 2022, again, this is based on the average enrollment, but there's your plan funding projection there. It's down a little bit, or up a little bit rather. Other revenue, $6,700. Other revenue is typically our rebates and things of that nature that come back into the plan. So that reflects the total revenue there. Your claims expense, you see, is $116,470,000 at the end of last projected. This is projected up through 6/16 of $116,470,000. And then your plan year 2022 is projected to be $120,140,165. 165. Your administrative expense, that's your plan expense. That's my staff. That's those expenses that come into the plan that are part of the plan expense. $6,459,000. Projected for 2022 is $6,271,000. Clinic expense, you'll see for 2021, almost $7 million for that expense. Projected for plan year 2022, $6.64 million. So you've got your total expense, gain, and loss in the program. Now, what you're going to see here is, claims costs. And again, keep in mind, these claims are only reported through 6/16 of 2021 as far as claims paid. So this is, like you say, a moving target. It is subject to change and probably will change, as I mentioned earlier in our SIC meeting, that the Delta variant is included in here. So we had quite a number of claims that hit that. So you see the gain or loss anticipated to the plan. And that gives you a fund balance at the end of 2021 that's projected to be $3.9 million, 3.95. Projected for plan year 2022 is $6.2 million fund balance. The days in reserve, if you remember, is that actuarial calculation that we use for the state of Florida. It's recommended to have 60 days in reserve, which we're lucky. I'm happy we have to report that we may have 12 at the end of this year, as the board has been working very hard trying to get that fund balance up. And we're projecting for plan year 2022 that will be at 18 days. And you see the OIR 60-day reserve requirement there at the bottom, and that's a statutory guidance there that calculates that amount. Mm-hmm. And note that please, the board did begin contributions of an additional $40 beginning 7/1 of 2021, and no changes are anticipated in the projection you have for plan year 2022. Meaning next July 1, the board will not, at this point, be putting in an additional $40 or $60 unless the board decides later next year when we present our financial arrangements to do something different there, which would be included in next year's bargaining if they do. So plan funding, if you look at your count, you got 11,500 active employees at 774. That went up to 814 beginning 7/1. The proposed for 1/1/22 will be to hold that contribution at 814. Revenue increase is $5.5 million. The employee rate, you'll see there, will continue to be 0. Okay, for plan year 2022. Spouse rate is projected to go from $594 to $624. I reduced this from my initial proposal, so you note it is a little bit different than it was in the initial proposal. Mm-hmm. One child is projected to be 110 from 105. Okay, so can you hear me? 2 children projected to go from 210 to 221. 3 children projected to go from 245 to 257. Retiree costs is projected to rise from $594 to $624 per month. The revenue increase you'll see there, and the total board and the employee and retiree contribution will amount to $6.2 million. Proposed, correct. I'm sorry, projected, I was talking more about the planned projections and the claims expense.
Projected revenue.
Projected revenue, yes.
Proposed premium.
Proposed premium is some projected revenue. So if you turn the page to the proposed plan design changes for medical, currently the medical and network deductible is $900 per person, $1,800 for the total family. Proposed to go from $1,000 to $1,000 per individual, $2,000 per family. And the medical out-of-network deductible is to go from $1,500 per individual, $3,000 per family, to $2,500 per individual, $5,000 per family. Medical in-network out-of-pocket maximum projected to increase from $5,000 individual, $9,000 family, to $6,500 individual to $11,700 family. Specialist office copayment is projected to go from $50 to $60. The impact of those changes is a little over $1 million increase in revenue to the fund.
So Linda, I had a question real quick before you go on with the specialty office visit. Is that going to be, because right now our current copay is $50 for everything that's not in the employee clinic. In this proposal, you're proposing that all these go up to $60 across the board, or is it just for specialty office visits?
It would just be for specialty office visits.
So you're saying, so where in there does it say that in this proposal here that the regular copays would stay $50?
Well, we would have to put that in there to be $50 for the primary care and $50 for pediatrician.
Okay,
That's a good point. Thank you, Stephanie.
thank you.
Prescription drug plan is the next category. You'll see the current benefit level and then the proposed benefit level. Deductible per person is now $50 per person. That'll go to $75 per person. The prescription out-of-pocket maximum is now $1,600, individual $4,200, family. And that would rise to $2,000 per individual and $5,000 per family. What'll happen with the generic copay, tier 1, tier 2, $8 retail. The $20 is the extended fill network. That's like when you get 90 days at Publix or Walgreens. That's $20. Mail order would be $20. So those would change to $10 for generic, $30 for the extended network, and then $25 for mail order. The preferred brand, tier 3 under our formulary, is $40, and it will be going to $80. And the ESN fill would be $120 to $240. And then the mail order would stay at $125.
Can I just clarify that, Linda? Sorry to interrupt.
Yes, thank you, Jan.
Today, on the brand drugs, you have a copayment plus 10% coinsurance up to a maximum. For instance, on a retail, you have a $40 copayment to a maximum of $80.
Oh, thank you.
So it's $40 plus 10%, but the maximum is $80. And for the extended supply network, there's a $120 copayment plus 10% to a maximum of $240. And on mail, it's just a flat $125 with no coinsurance in there. And I think the premise behind this was to get rid of the coinsurance and make it a little bit more simple, because that's a variable. When people go to the pharmacy, they don't know what it's going to cost, 10% of what. And that can vary depending on where you go for those prescription drugs. So this was, a lot of this was a simplification to try to make it more predictable when you go to the pharmacy, what it's going to cost you when you go. So sorry to interrupt, Linda.
No, thank you, Jan, for clarifying. I forgot about the coinsurance. You can tell I don't take a preferred brand.
You didn't introduce Jan, sorry, Jan.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, it's Jan Bush. Sorry, I'm here.
So again, Jan's point is we were trying to simplify. To be honest, I think it's really hard trying to guess a percentage because you'd have to call the pharmacy first. And so that takes away some of the surprise. So you'd be looking at that changing to a flat $55 retail, and then $165 for the extended supply network, and then $138 for mail order. So there could potentially be savings in there depending upon where the drug goes and that tier. So non-preferred, again, same thing with the co-insurance. Right now it's $80 to $160, anywhere in the range at retail. For the extended supply network, it's $210 to $420. Mail order is a flat $200. So we'd be looking at changing that to $110 generic. For retail, I mean, not generic, but retail, sorry, extended supply network, $330, and then mail order, $275. Preferred specialty, tier 5, you're looking at $80 for retail, and that would change to $100 proposed. The non-preferred specialty would go from $160 to $200. And those are some of your biosimilars, your those specialty drugs, and they're only available at one location. Okay, so for other proposed changes for information under issue A, this is really an informational item, but for now, based on some of my initial criteria, we're going to wait on the ABCs of Diabetes program until we're able to do some behavioral analysis and do some more extensive, recommendations with both our pharmaceutical partner and our clinicians at our health center to decide how we should drive ABCs of Diabetes programs. We're continuing to offer free generic covered medications. My concern is for the brand name drugs and the extensive cost we're paying for that. For people that are only quasi-engaged in the program. In other words, they're not really improving their behavior over time. And I don't like rewarding them if they're not really engaged, but I'm trying to figure out how I impact that without negatively affecting the people that are making improvements. So that's going to be down to the individual level. So for that, I'm going to pull that one back for now, and I won't be making that change until we're able to work out something a little more definitive. The split fill program, we're going to be effective 1/1/2022 on that. And this program only covers certain prescriptions, enzyme deficiencies, oral oncology, lung disorders, pulmonary hypertension, multiple sclerosis, sleep disorders, other specialty medications. And these are ones that typically have a lot of adverse reactions, sometimes first on when somebody is prescribed this. So what we want to do is split the fill, meaning let's give you a few pills and let you try it first. And you're only going to pay for that part of it until we find out you're okay. So we're not charging the full prescription up front and wasting medication that you find after 3 or 4 days you get sick and you can't take it and you have to be prescribed something else. So that is something that Prime offers, and so that's the purpose of it, and it's determined for each drug individually based on the demonstrated frequency of adverse effects. So that's what we'll be doing with that one. Number C, outpatient and office services that require pre-certification. Right now, we currently have pre-certification required for advanced imaging. That's currently in place. And for radiation therapy management, we have for that, we have that in place. We have genetic laboratory testing, and we have some select outpatient office services. But what's happening for those last 3 bullets is Blue Cross is actually evaluating it after they've already paid the claim. And so it's like prospective instead of reactive. And so what they're doing, expected 1/1/22, is they're requiring all of these procedures to be required in advance and be pre-approved in order to avoid, something when they look at it after the fact, look at the criteria, they can say, oh, it was questionable whether or not we really should have approved that. Well, they've already, quote, already paid the claim, so to speak. So now they're going to require it upfront for everybody. And to be honest, I think this is a good thing. But the problem with the plan is it has to be all or none. So if we don't put pre-certification in effect, we could end up paying for brow lifts, tummy tucks, other things that may not be medically, quote, necessary. So we have to put that in place. Okay, so you'll see the total impact of changes is $6.2 million, $6,221,908. Plan design changes, $1,726,783 for a total estimated impact of $7,948,691.
Expected revenue.
Yes, expected revenue, total estimated impact of the program. Yes.
You ready for questions?
Any questions?
Linda, can you scroll up to the top of that, to the revenues portion of that?
Yes.
Keep going. A little further. Just a little further.
Are these reflected in here? That are estimated for total impact?
Is that what you need, Jan, or higher?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Thanks.
No, this is just plan projections. I don't think that's in there. We'll have Jan clarify. Jan, Heather had a question. We just wanted to see if under number 4, the total impact of changes was reflected in number 1, plan projections.
The plan projections are just expected costs, expected revenue and costs. It didn't assume anything other than the increase in the board funding on 7/1 of 2021. It doesn't assume any changes in 2022. So that would be if you did nothing from here forward. This is what the expected plan performance would be. So anything that happens below there would have a direct, would have an impact on that. So, so if you made these changes, it would just increase the gain, hopefully, and the number of days in reserve by that much.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I know we had a chance to look this over too. Thank you, Linda, for going through that so thoroughly with your proposal. And I do want to make it clear to people listening right now, this is the district's proposal. This is not necessarily what's going to happen because nobody's agreed to this yet. So just to make that clear to anybody that's watching, thinking that this is coming down, not necessarily. We just adding up the cost for the increased premiums for spouse, child, and retiree, the increase revenue on your proposal from the deductible increases, and the proposed changes to the pharmacy deductibles and plan. The total is $2.4 million on the backs of employees. And so, and just with the, really with the deductible increase alone, really with all of it, most of this stuff is going to come back to us in COVID reimbursement. So, you should be, how much has been back to the health plan now as to date with COVID reimbursement, or what has been sent up?
That would be 0 at this point.
No, but how much have you sent up to be reimbursed? I know that deals with the SR2 that we're still waiting on plan grant approval. Even though they don't have, whatever, I won't get into that. How much has been sent up to be reimbursed at this point?
A little over 4.5 million, Stephanie, is included in our current ESSER 2 application.
Okay. So, I mean, I think that we can more than cover any of these costs. If the goal is to get the days up in reserve, you know, we can do that through COVID reimbursements because we know that money's coming. They can't deny it. It's part of the assurances. It just may take a little bit of time to get the money because the state is holding it up. So I know I've talked with Lisa with AFSCME. We are staunchly opposed to any changes this year, and we are rejecting this proposal in its entirety, and we are still proposing status quo on all deductibles, premiums, and plan designs right now.
And AFSCME agrees with that. Could I have Heather repeat that amount? I could not hear her.
It's a little over $4.5 million. We are waiting for another update of actual COVID claims, and we will update that amount once received.
Thank you, Heather.
You're welcome.
Stephanie, we'd like to call a caucus.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Those of you district team members participating remotely, if you could call HR 534-0781 and we'll get you into the conference room. Thank you.
And Laura, real quick before you guys jump off, about what time do you think you'll be back? Because I know that my team and we've sent Kevin should have sent you the Zoom link too for us to caucus. So we know about what time you'll be back because I think our team's going to go into a caucus room as well.
Sorry, we don't know how long it'll be, but we have 2 hours reserved for the meeting.
Okay. If I think Tony has my cell phone number, just have Tony send me a text when you guys are ready to come back. Okay.
Laura, can you repeat that phone number, please?
86